Okay, let's dive right in. If you've ever been in a meeting and kind of hesitated before saying a technical term out loud, you are definitely not alone. Today, we're going to fix some of the most common, most confusing pronunciations in the tech world so you can speak with total clarity and confidence.
And that quote, it really nails it. Look, this isn't about having a perfect accent or anything like that. It's all about being understood, clearly. Because when you're in a daily stand-up talking about complex architecture or, debugging a critical issue, precision is everything. One little mispronunciation can send the whole conversation off the rails.
So, let's start with the absolute basics. We're talking the terms you probably type and hopefully say every single day.
Okay, so the key to this one is all in its origin story. It's not some made-up word. The creator, Linus Torvalds, actually said it himself. It's pronounced Linux, with that short I sound, like in the word pin. He just combined his name, Linus, with the system that inspired it, Unix. Simple as that. Linux.
This one's actually super logical once you know what it stands for. Super user do, or sometimes substitute user do. You're telling the system to do something, but with more power. That's why it's sudo. It rhymes with voodoo. The pronunciation is literally built right into the command's job.
Oh man, the spelling on this one really throws people off. We see that AE, and our brains immediately think of the mythological creature, but in the tech world, it actually comes from a 19th century physics concept called Maxwell's daemon, a little background process that sorts molecules. So you say it just like the science term, daemon.
All right, we've covered the OS. Now let's move up a level and talk about the tools and languages we use to wrangle all that data. And here it is, the classic debate. But I've got some good news for you. You can't really be wrong here. See, the original language was actually called SQL, so saying SQL is historically correct. But later, when it was standardized, it became the structured query language, which leads to SQL. So what's the real rule? Just listen to how your senior devs and the rest of your team say it, and stick with that. Consistency is key. Whatever you do, don't drop that S. The name actually tells a story. Postgres started out as a project called PostIngress because, well, it came after a database named Ingress. So the name is literally Postgres. You can say the whole thing, PostgreSQL, or just Postgres, but please never Postgre.
All right, now, for what might be the single most common mispronunciation in all of IT. It's not fancy, it does not have a French accent, it is not cache, it's just cash, like the money in your wallet. Simple, direct, and really important when you're talking about performance. You clear the cache. This one comes to us straight from mathematics. Think about it. We don't say quinpool, do we? We say quintuple. The exact same rule applies here. It's an ordered set of elements, and it's pronounced tuple. It rhymes with supple or couple, not tuple.
Okay, let's jump into the tools that build and run the modern internet. From web servers to container orchestration, this is where a lot of the new and kind of tricky terms live. At first glance, this just looks like a random string of letters, doesn't it? But it's actually a super clever play on words. The creator wanted to build a new kind of high-performance web server, a new kind of engine. And the X, well, that just adds that cool next-gen factor. So it's not nginx, it's simply nginx. Here's a great rule of thumb. When you see a 2, 3, or 4-letter acronym, think API, URL, HTTP, the safest and honestly most professional bet is to just say the letters. Try to avoid turning it into a word like AAP. Just say API. It's always clear, always correct. This name has a really cool origin. It comes from the ancient Greek word for a helmsman or a ship's pilot, the person who steers the boat. And that's what you're doing, right? You're the pilot of your containers. So the pronunciation follows its Greek roots with the stress on that third syllable. Kubernetes, not nates, netes. All right, let's settle this great debate once and for all. Look, I get it. Kubectl is kind of fun to say. But the Kubernetes release team itself has put this one to rest. They've officially stated that the correct way to say it is kubectl because you are using the tool to control the cube. Makes sense, right? Okay, time for a quick bonus round. Because sometimes clear communication isn't just about how you say a word, it's about knowing the crucial, and I mean crucial, difference between two very similar commands. This is so critical, you guys. These are not the same thing. Git revert is the safe way to undo something. It creates a brand new commit that just reverses the changes, so your project history stays perfectly intact. Git reset, on the other hand, actually rewrites history. It can permanently delete commits. No joke.
Using the wrong one can literally erase your team's work.
And here's another distinction that can save you a world of pain. Think of shutdown as politely telling your server, okay, finish up what you're doing, save everything, and then you can go to sleep. It's graceful. Halt is basically the same as yanking the power cord out of the wall. It just stops everything, instantly, which can easily lead to corrupted data. So yeah, always be polite to your servers.
So what should you take away from all this? Well, it really boils down to a few things. First, this is about clarity, not about having a perfect accent. Second, when you're in doubt, just listen to how the senior folks on your team talk. Third, understanding where a word comes from is honestly the best cheat code to remembering how to say it. And finally, just practicing these is going to make you so much more confident in any technical discussion.
And I'll leave you with one final thought. Which one of these was the biggest surprise for you today? Be honest. Was it cache? Nginx? Recognizing these little details is such a big part of growing as a professional, so keep learning, keep communicating clearly, and keep building amazing things.